Hello and welcome, I'm Tafarag Damu. Bob Marley, widely regarded as the king of reggae, would have turned 80 last week. My guest, Julian, a Rastafarian who lives in Shashamane, knew Bob Marley from way back in the 1960s and 1970s. What does he exactly remember about that musical giant? Julian, a very warm welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So, let me get you back to the 1960s, Jamaica.
Yeah.
That's when you knew Bob Marley from quite a distance.
Yeah,
Tell me about that.
Well, from Trenchtown, they used to do their rehearsal on 2nd Street in Trenchtown.
Which is in Kingston, right?
Yeah, Kingston, of course. And I had a friend here. I used to go visit, and then I could associate myself by seeing them and, saying hello to one of the three or the three together. They were always doing something, practicing to make
music.
Better music, yeah.
And you were then, what? I mean, you are 5 years younger, right?
Yes, I'm just somebody observing them that time, Didn't even know they're going to take off like that, yeah. And then one day I'm in the bus too, in the same time. I saw Bob walking and I said, "Isn't that Bob? Wow, 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 Bob, Bob, Bob." And I'm calling like he was superstar at that time. The way I'm excited, It's like, "There's Bob. Wow, 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 I see Bob." Yeah, I was so, so excited to just see him. Like, there's something about him that I know that I don't know,
What is that something you know about him that early?
No, it's just like there's something. There's a present that he has, that I'm just excited to say, "Oh, I see Bob. That's Bob," And this time he only have a few songs on the radio, Wailers do it.
That was very early in his career.
Very early, yeah, very early, yeah.
And then you moved to New York
in
1970. In 1970.
Yeah.
And 3 years later, Bob Marley and the Wailers had their first U.S. tour.
Yes.
In New York.
Yes.
You were there?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, it started, Bob was staying at Central Park, at that time, a hotel by Central Park, and every day he would play football.
You mean the Chelsea Hotel?
No, not the Chelsea. The Chelsea was before that, yeah. But that is 73, right? The first tour.
Yes, 1973.
The Chelsea was with Alan Cole.
His manager.
Yeah, and that's where that wasn't planned concert. I took them from Chelsea to Washington, D.C.
In 1973?
Yes.
Drove both Bob Marley and his manager?
That's right, because after that was the concert.
In New York?
The tour, yeah.
So tell me about your first impression about that concert in 1973.
Madison Square Garden?
That's right. Is it Madison or in...
At Max's Kansas City.
Okay.
Those were small concerts.
Those were small, yes, venues, but this one was bigger, open air.
Very big opening for Lionel Richie Band, yeah. And, yeah, this was... Even when we went to buy tickets, I remember I had to buy tickets for some people. I had backstage pass for Madison Square Garden. But when we went to buy tickets for people asked me to get tickets and they say, "Oh, I want some Bob Marley tickets." They say, no, it's not Bob Marley show. This is Commodores. Yeah, it was the Commodores. Lionel Richie with the Commodores. But finally what happened was phenomenal. It was very different because the whole, maybe 90% of the crowd came to see Bob Marley. And after Bob Marley finished his concert, people were going, never want to see Commodores. They were going out the door, So It was very...
You were there, you saw that.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
So that's technically, literally, that's the first time you met Bob Marley that close, right?
Yeah, well, yes. Well, no, the closest was Chelsea Hotel. I had to drive them, arrange for... I put Bob in one car. I said, that's a good car for Bob. We're going all the way to Washington, D.C. I put him in the best car. And then Alan came in my car.
Alan is manager.
Yeah. So we take off for Washington, D.C.
You drove that 4 hours drive all the way to Washington. For what?
And I blow out the tire too. And
What's that?
yes, and Alan said, oh, me. I said, no problem, no problem. I have everything under control.
Why were they driving to Washington, D.C.? Was it their call?
They had that plan to drive to Washington, D.C. I don't know why. And I got the responsibility to take them there, you know.
So you were basically their guide?
Yes, I was their guide to take them to Washington. And then I got there, they saw their friends, and I was over. They saw their Jamaican grow up together friends, you know.
In Washington, D.C.?
Yeah. So they just...
You didn't get to spend some time with them?
No, not in Washington. I just left them over to their friends, and we, the next day we came back to New York.
So when Bob met those Jamaicans living in Washington, D.C., what was the mood like?
Oh,
Because he has become a big star at that time.
yeah, I think they know Bob's potential to, you know, for whatever they love his music. They wanted to see him go through, you know. So they were very excited to see, you know, to see Bob coming to visit, even visit for a few hours or so. It was very good for them, and it was happy. Everybody was happy.
When else? In 1980, his last concert in New York. You were also there, right?
Which one was it?
In 1980, at Madison Square Garden.
Yes, I was there, yeah.
That was his last concert. After that, he was taken sick, I guess?
Yeah, that was a great concert. I went, you know, from the backstage, dressing room, down on the stage in Madison Square Garden. And I was excited to know that I had that privilege to be around Bob at that time.
What were you actually? You were close to to Bob, right?
Yes. And
what were you doing for him?
And a lot of the musicians was my friend, family man, and he's the bass player. He was good, and I knew a few of the musicians, so everybody wanted to get something that they're missing for tour or whatever, if it's even vegetable or food or something. So I would assist, helping everybody. What you need, I get it. What you need, I get it. I was like that, getting everybody what they need, you know. Some guy need a Western Union to send money back to his family. Some guy, there was always an issue that somebody need some assistance, you know.
So you were running errands for them?
For them, running errands.
What did you specifically do for Bob?
Nothing specifically. Just his being there, and all his needs is there for musicians and himself, you know.
You brought him the stuff too, right?
Yeah. They have to get their ganja. They have to get their vegetable and their fish. They don't eat meat, so it's fish and vegetable, and yeah. I was the runaround.
How was he as a person? I mean, that's one of the few times you've been close to him, right? Yeah. To tell me about his...
He has a lot of humor, you know. Maybe I can't remember exactly what, but Bob is always giving you something to think about, to laugh about, to you know. He always have a message that whenever he speaks, I think he consider what he's going to say a lot, because it's always, oh, I never hear that before. Say it again, Bob. You know?
You mean he was not extrovert?
No, but he's very conscious of what you want to say, you know, and make sure what he's saying is what he understands, you know, not...
But that is quite different from what we see Bob on the stage.
Yeah, because on the stage he's more what you say, enlightening, or he's more, into his stuff, doing his performance, and he's singing his best. And yeah, he's very good on stage.
He
Because
gets
I think some of these musicians have double characters, On stage, it's one, and when you see them, it's another. Not Bob especially, but some musicians could be like that, yeah.
Was he was personable, right?
Yes. He would look at you and stare at you, and you don't care if you think what you think, but Bob would look at you. He's always looking, eyes focused. Yeah.
Looking at you, what did he discover? Did he tell you?
I never tell you. Yeah.
So he basically was a man of few words?
Yeah, few words. Not talk. Yeah, few words. Even Peter Tosh would talk more than Bob. Yeah, with my experience with them. But Bob is not too much talk, Yeah.
Tell me about the few times that you spent with him. Did you talk about some intimate things? Did you talk about his spirituality? Did you talk?
No, because our spirituality is Rasta, and we accept that, and we know that out of that principle you should not even walk, you should keep in that mood, in that, in that spiritual way of life, Rastafari, which we are Rastas and Haile Selassie principles from the Orthodox Church down to, our everyday life, yeah.
So it was about community, about caring for the other human.
Yes.
You and so on and so forth. So did Bob Marley, you think, lived that?
Yes.
Both in spirit and in...
Very much. He cared about people. He cared about everything. And, he's not focused on money. Yeah, he's not about fighting, give me so much to perform, or I don't. No. If the principles and what he needs is there, he will do his work, He like a good, 9 yards of music,
The whole 9 yards.
Yeah, he doesn't like halfway, nothing. And he will do his best, yeah. And he will help to make it good, He was doing too much. I think Bob, failure or getting so sick was that he was touring. Because I'm road manager, and I can tell you, even the groups sometimes, they need to take a rest. Because it's not easy on the road, It's tough on the road. There's no food. There's no real accommodation. There's no bed. You would stay in that bed 2 hours, you get up. I'm ready to go to the next concert,
It was as if he had no time left.
No time, yeah. He needed to take a rest, at that time. But it was...
But he never considered that.
It was the peak of his crowd, So he never considered that to take no rest. And I think the people around him was to be blamed too. They should observe that he's tired and say, Bob, it's okay. We don't have to get paid this week. Take a rest. Nobody said that,
But he didn't want to rest either.
Yes. Well, you don't know, because so many people, and he's want to help everybody. He want to make sure everybody's okay. So he don't think that he should take a rest, He think that keep on touring, building his career, and it will help everybody. He said, you're going to tie it to see my face. You got to tie it to see my face. You can't get me out of the race. Yeah. So he's always working, They love to work too, especially music, because that's their focus. So they don't want to go here, do that. Let's make a new song. Let's go tour and chant down Babylon. You know?
Right, right. There are several of signature songs. One Love, 1977. No Woman, No Cry, 1974. Redemption Song, 1980. That's, I guess, a year before he died.
Yeah.
Three Little Birds, 1977. Jamming, 1977. Wow. Buffalo Soldier, 1983. Exodus, 1977. Get Up, Stand Up, 1973. Could You Be Loved, 80. Which one of these songs appealed?
Exodus was very, appealing. Exodus, like a new stride, a new way, a new part. That was like, when I heard Exodus, like, yeah, we're going on a new part. Not fighting, not doing anything wrong, just growing, in a new way, That's how Exodus appealed to me. Yeah.
It's interesting because after Exodus was released in 1977, a year after that, after Exodus, he visited Ethiopia, 1978, Shashamane.
Yeah.
You were not here in Ethiopia.
No.
When was it that you moved to Shashamane?
2007.
2007. So in 1978, Bob visited Ethiopia and made sure that he stayed a couple of days in Shashamane?
Yeah.
Tell me about that trip. What did your friends tell you?
Yeah, because where he stayed was my good friend, Philippines, and they were, up to now, his family is still excited to know that Bob stayed at their house. He just passed away maybe 2 years ago or so.
What did he do there in Shashamane?
No, they just sit and enjoy the great environment, greenery, and Shashamane is so beautiful. And he could smoke a couple spliff and write a song, one or two.
Do you know which?
No, I don't remember.
But definitely he wrote the lyrics and so on while in Shashamane.
I remember they telling me, this song he wrote here in the house. I don't remember which song, but one of those songs he wrote in Shashamane.
Wow.
Yeah.
He never had any plans to settle in Shashamane, no? No? Or is there anything?
But he had plans. They tell me Bob promised to do some stuff, to do something like, make a stadium, or they tried that also, or do something community, for the community, a school or something.
He loved football.
Yeah, he loved football. They used to support the teams. And there was one time
You mean Bob?
Yeah. Bob, in fact, the Whalers would split. This 2 guys on that team and 2 guys supporting that team. And then they go to the match and they make a big party. Like, oh, you see my team? See my player? And this one would say, no, look. And they're excited. Football was great for them. They love football.
They love football.
Yeah.
But wasn't that a bad omen because in 1973 the Whalers, as we know them, split?
Yeah. They split because of, as a road manager, I think it was financial, because whatever they get for an album, they would consider that this cannot even produce the album. The money is so small, they would spend it and take money from their pocket too to put in the album. That's how they were very dedicated to what their work,
What does the Rastafarian community think of Bob Marley? Because had he been alive, he would have turned 80 last week.
Yeah, well, Rasta, Bob is spiritual leader for a lot of Rastas, like Haile Selassie. A lot of people look at Bob like it's very, very much. But they don't disrespect. Yeah, they love Bob. Yeah, the Rasta community love Bob.
How many of you are here in Ethiopia?
Rasta?
Yes.
I don't think so many. A few hundred. I don't know if we have.
No longer just Jamaicans, there are also...
Yeah, or international, maybe 1,000 or so.
1,000.
Yeah, I don't think it's so much.
Keeping the spirit alive?
Yeah, we keep celebrations and traditional ceremonies. Yeah. In the ancient Ethiopian culture is what we promote.
You're here to stay.
Yes.
But many from the older generation have passed on.
Yes, too many people pass on. It's a pity. Yeah.
And the oldest one would be now in Shashamane? Would be how old?
90, 100.
90.
Yeah. Oh, Solomon was 90-something when he passed.
And he passed away a few years ago. Yeah. Who else?
And there was one or two before him that passed away. They were up there also. But life goes on for us who is still here, so we have to do our best.
As Ethiopians?
Yes. This is the ancient Ethiopian culture we make a pledge to uphold and carry on. Yeah, so we are not going left or right with that. Straight ahead.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I guess we need to end that conversation on that note. Thank you very much indeed, Julian. It was really a pleasure having you on my show.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you having me. Thank you very much.